Professor Subaramanian is a super senior of mine at the American College. And I always dearly address him as Anna, who has been helping us, guiding us from the days I joined my master's in English, language and literature at the American College. So I'm happy that he is here with us to give a talk on Hamlet, the relevance of Hamlet in this digital era. And the most important thing that you need to know is that he has visited England. He has stood on the place where Shakespeare staged all his plays. He has read. He has had a first-hand experience. So we are going to listen to a person who has not just read Shakespeare, but who has also breathed it, who has visited, who has seen, who has touched, who has felt. So, yes, this is just a small, short introduction. So I leave the floor open to the students of the Department of Languages and Communication Studies, so that from now on they will take forth and give you a nice introduction and a welcome. So thank you. Over to students.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Yumi Sandanika, fourth year student from Faculty of Communication and Business Studies and Department of Languages and Communication Studies, Trincomalee Campus, Eastern University, Sri Lanka. I am very happy to welcome all for today's Relevance of Hamlet in the Digital Age webinar based on the Shakespeare, one of the most popular play of Hamlet. Before beginning this session, I take this as an opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Rohan Sabarimuthu, Senior Lecturer, Faculty of Communication and Business Studies, Department of Languages and Communication Studies, Trincomalee Campus, Eastern University, for giving us this great opportunity. Now I invite Nuspa to welcome our honored guest, Assistant Professor Dr. S. Subaramanian. Thank you.
Welcome to the webinar on relevance of Hamlet in the digital age. I get this wonderful opportunity to welcome today's chief guest, Assistant Professor of English, Dr. S. Subaramanian, Chikaya Nayakar College, Erode, for this webinar today. He has completed his Bachelor in English from the American College, Madurai in 1993 and Masters in English from the American College in 1996. Also, he has completed his MPhil in English and PhD. But it's not only just his educational achievements that make him special. With that, he has published poems, and also he has published a handful of articles, and he has published He has published articles, books of poems titled Read This and Curse. He is amateur dramatist and poet. He has attended more than 43 conferences and workshops. Therefore, it is an honor and a privilege for us, sir, to have you with this. Today we have gathered here for the webinar arranged for the fourth year students of BA in Languages at Trincomalee campus, Eastern University, Sri Lanka. I'm sure we will be enriched by this webinar. I hope this 1 hour will be more intellectual and more interesting. Once again, I welcome all of you for this session. I hope you all leave with the soul of Hamlet at the end of this session. Feel free to clarify your doubts regarding the topic and share your thoughts with our chief speaker. Now, the floor is open for you, sir.
Thank you very much, Nusfa. I hope I'm audible, right? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 2 days back, actually, Dr. Rohan spoke to me and asked me about this lecture. And he told that, Anna, you'll have to come and lecture to our students. And the date he proposed was the very next day. I think he called me on Thursday and he told that I'll have to lecture on Friday. I was a bit taken aback because it's not an easy thing to prepare because we are all students still. And not yesterday, a few weeks back when Nilango sir was speaking to me, he was telling like he used to prepare for any lecture and he takes at least a month for preparation. So this was a very short duration, but still I accepted because Rowan has been a good friend of mine and he has been a very vibrant guy in his college days. And I still remember him as a lean person, bespectacled, and very active. He used to do a lot of works in the college. So I would like to thank him for giving me this golden opportunity. And I would like to thank all the students who are here. First of all, let me tell you the reason why I just took this topic. Actually, as a person, I belong both to 20th century and 21st century. I call myself as a 20th century boy and 21st century teacher. And if you ask me which was the better century, I would say that 20th century was far, far better than 21st century for many reasons. And there are many reasons for that. One plain reason is after 2002, 2001, when mobile phone was introduced, the whole world underwent a change, a dramatic change. And if you ask me whether it is a positive change or a negative change, I would say that it is a negative change because we have lost many things. Personally, when I see things when I'm traveling, I feel that people are just glued to their digital devices. And this has actually robbed the human relationship. And it has actually spoiled the entire behavior of human beings. That's what I would say. So this is something painful. And as a teacher, what I would say is people have lost interest in literature. This is quite plain. When I go into a classroom, I find that students are just glued to their mobile phones. They just keep their computers open. They just browse something. And if you ask them to read the books, probably they're not that much interested. So they want or they have a need of all things in a very short format. For example, if they're asked to prepare for the examination, they use the notes, and even teachers have started using the notes nowadays. So this is a very painful thing, and I'm sure that Shakespeare is not prescribed in most of the colleges, especially in autonomous colleges. And even if it is prescribed, what I find is you come across very few students who are reading Shakespeare. I don't know how many of you have read Hamlet from the primary text. Have you all read? I think We have around 8 or 10 students. Can you just answer? Trishanta, has anyone read?
Yes, we read.
Yeah, you read from the primary text, right? So that's a good thing.
Yes.
But what I find as far as our country is concerned is that people have lost interest. That's what I find. And I would attribute the blame to the digital devices. The whole behavior has changed. And to read a play like Shakespeare, Hamlet, is something that is that needs extraordinary energy. Energy in the sense that you need to have interest, passion, and focus. Since people are so much attached to mobile devices, I find that none of them are that much interested in reading the text. So, how did all this start? If you just go back to the past, you'll find that drama actually began from church. I think most of you should be knowing. After Greek drama, after Roman drama, you find that in England, it was the church that actually made the drama grow in England. And it all began with miracle and mystery plays, and slowly the plays came out of the church, and it came to the roads, and finally it settled in a place called Shoreditch Festival. Shoreditch, sorry. And it was in the year 1574, if I'm not wrong, the first theatre was built, and the theatre was called as the Theatre, and it was built by a very prominent personality called James Burbage. So this theatre was built with wooden planks, and the theatre was located very much outside London. And the reason was that though Queen was very much interested in drama, the actors, of course, they were very interested, and they did the acting even before the theatre came into being. You will find that the municipal officials, they were totally against the theatre, and the reason was simple. In those days, it was a time when plague was spreading like something, and they didn't want the risk to be taken. So theatre was located outside the city limits, and you know how the theatre was built. They had different. They actually used wooden planks, and the stage was almost rectangular in shape, and that particular theatre was dismantled in the year 1598, and a new theatre came into being called Globe Theatre. And this Globe Theatre was very important because this was a theatre in which Shakespeare played a very important role in his life. Probably as a dramatist, as a poet, you'll find that Shakespeare became a partner in this particular theatre. And this was the theatre in which most of his plays were enacted. So Globe Theatre became very popular, and this Globe Theatre had two stories. That is, it had a plain stage, and it had an upper stage, and the upper stage was used for important occasions, and certain occasions probably when in certain plays, especially Brabantio. I don't know what is that play. I don't remember. But in certain scenes and certain acts, you find that the upper stage was used, but mostly the lower stage is the stage in which most of the acting took place. And they had a trap door, and this was the trap door that actually only from this lower trap door, most of the ghosts and other superhuman beings came about. So they came to the stage and they acted in the event. And above the stage, they had something called heavens. And this heavens was something that actually protected the actors from sun and rain. So this was how the stage was made. And to be more precise, there were in those days there were no green rooms. So instead of green rooms, there was something called tiring houses. So this was the place where the actors did take rest. So the stage was in this manner, and you know how the people were seated. So there were galleries, and you find that there were pits. Pits were the place where most of the uh, poor people, actually those those workers and people who were not able to go for higher payment, actually they stood in pit and they watched most of the scenes. And this pit was something that was a very boisterous thing. So whenever an actor came and acted, probably the pit members, they were so robust and boisterous, and they used to throw eggs and they used to disturb the actors. So pit was a very disturbing thing, but actors had to forbear all these things and they had to perform their role. And if you ask me whether there was a ticket or something like that, there were no tickets as such. So whenever a spectator, I think you'll have to be very careful in this. What is the difference between a spectator and audience? If a question is going to be asked like this, your reply has to be very clear. Actually, those people who are seated in the theater could be called as audience. And the reason why they are they are called as members of audience is because in those days, people, when they left their home, they didn't say that they were going to watch the play. They said that they are going to hear the play or listen the play. So listening the play was happening in those days. No one went to see the play. So listening didn't happen. And so that's the reason why audience, the word came about. And most of the people who enter the theater, what they do is there used to be a big box at the entrance. So they used to drop their coins in that particular box, and they used to enter this theater, and they used to sit and watch the play. So when the box is full, it was called as box office sit. So this is how even today you find if you go to a movie, when a movie is considered to be a hit movie, they actually use the term box office sit. So this particular expression has come from from Shakespearean times. So theater was in this manner, and Shakespeare performed most of his plays there. And if you just see the life of Shakespeare, you'll find that he actually entered London as an hostler. You know the reasons why he left Stratford. And Stratford is a beautiful place. As Rowan said a few minutes back, I did visit Stratford, and it was a very thrilling experience. I was really captivated by the beauty of Stratford. And they actually showed what is Forest of Arden. Of course, there are no trees now, but still it had the greeneries, and the beauty of England is something that is really touching. And Stratford, when I entered Stratford, I was able to find his house, and it was told that his house was built with not just mortar. In those days, there were no cement, so they used lime. They used horse hairs. They used horse hairs to build the building, it seems. So, and moreover, you had small courts and other things in the particular building. And most of the courts are very small. And I did ask, like, was Shakespeare very short? And the immediate reply that was given to me was that no, in those days, people don't sleep in a supine manner. So what they used to do is they used to recline, they used to sit and sleep. And there were reasons for that also. Because in those days, the climate was, the weather was very bad, and most of them had lung issues, respiratory issues, and that was the reason why they were not able to lie supine. And they used to recline and they used to sleep. That was what was said. And even the doorway, the hinges of the door was on the right side, and the ceiling was very short, and it was all made of wood. And if you just compare, Shakespeare had two houses. One was his birthplace, the other is the house that he built there. And more than that, you find that Anne Hathaway's building, her birthplace or her house was a sprawling campus, a sprawling building, and it had an orchard. And it was quite clear that she was much richer than William Shakespeare. And if you, I also understood that he was so passionate towards buying lands. Shakespeare was so hungry for lands, and he wanted to buy as much lands as possible. And that's the reason we often say, whenever I am given a chance to speak, I often keep saying that had Shakespeare been born in 21st century, he would have ended up as a real estate agent. So Shakespeare left Stratford because of very many reasons, but nothing is plausible. No one can clearly say for what reason he left. But one plain reason could be that he impregnated Anne Hathaway. He married her when she was pregnant. So that could be that could be one particular reason, and or that could be another reason. Some people say that poaching was the reason. but nothing is plausible, nothing is clear. So he left Stratford and he came to London, and in London he worked as a nosler, one who looks after the horses. And then you know very well that he became an actor and then a playwright. So this was how Shakespeare evolved, and initially he started writing his histories. King Henry IV, King John, and so on. So such plays were written, and plague did intervene, and then he turned to comedies. And from 1601 onwards, he started writing tragedies. And the first significant tragedy that he wrote was Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar and Hamlet has a lot of similarities, and there were many reasons for that. And one particular reason which they say is that both Brutus and Hamlet are presented as intellectuals. So you find that the language is similar, the setting is similar, and tragedy itself is it comes from the word goat's song. The word tragedy comes from the word goat's song, Goat apostrophe S song, and you know there are many features as far as tragedy is concerned. If you go to Greek drama, you'll find that Sophocles' Oedipus the Rex was the most telling example for a tragedy. And you see how Oedipus the king falls from his high position. He becomes a king after killing his father, and he marries his own mother, and finally he ends up as a losing personality. So the fall of a great man from his height is what you mean by tragedy. And for what reason such eminence is attributed to personalities or character? And the main reason is, when it is an ordinary, if Hamlet is going to be an ordinary human being, I don't think the audience or the people who are going to watch the play is going to be, they're not going to be that much affected by Hamlet. So tragedy by nature, it was made in such a manner, and all the dramatists, they followed this thing. And you know very well that Aristotle has given the strictures as far as drama is concerned. And Shakespearean tragedies were totally different in the sense that you know very well that Hamlet is based on Spanish tragedy. There was a particular dramatist called Thomas Kidd, and Kidd's Spanish tragedy was the one that influenced Shakespeare's Hamlet. And if you just read the Spanish tragedy, you'll find that the storyline is almost similar. There'll be not much difference between Spanish tragedy and this. There'll not be much difference between Spanish tragedy and Hamlet. Both are almost similar as far as the storyline is concerned. But the only thing that makes Hamlet very attractive is procrastination. If that procrastination is not there, Hamlet is going to be, I think it will be a very ordinary play. And we can now ask, what is the exact reason why Hamlet procrastinated? And what do you say? Till now, no one has a clear idea. Of course, many critics come out with different views, different theories. I think you should have come across theories like Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex is one popular thing, and Freud was the one who actually propagated this. Sorry, he was the one who popularized this, and people say that this guy Hamlet had the Oedipus complex, and that was the reason why he was not able to kill Claudius. But whatever it is, I think this procrastination plays a very important role. If it is not for procrastination, Hamlet is a play that is dumb. And a very important point, as far as the Hamlet is concerned, the play Hamlet is concerned is conflict. Though tragedies have conflicts, all tragedies immaterially have conflicts. For example, if you take Macbeth, you'll find that the conflict is between Lady Macbeth, and Duncan's supporters. If you take other plays, if you take Julius Caesar, you'll find that the conflict is between Brutus and Antony. So the conflict is both external as well as internal in Shakespearean plays. And there could be many reasons. The plain reason why Shakespeare wrote tragedies in this particular period is because of the loss of his son Hamlet. So his son died due to plague, and this affected him very much. And he started seeing the darker side of life, and he lost faith in human beings. And the tragedies, most of the tragedies, you find that the desperation could be found. You find that Shakespeare is quite desperate, and yes, he expresses his lack of faith on human beings. So in Hamlet, you can just see that quite plainly. And if you just see the opening scene of the play, you'll find that the entry of superhuman element will be found. And this is another important point as far as tragedy is concerned. And Bernardo and the other soldier will be there, and the ghost comes, and the ghost actually doesn't speak with Horatio, who is there. And then when Hamlet comes, the ghost actually speaks to him and tells about the murder that has happened. And you can just ask a very simple question, like, did Hamlet believe in the words of ghost? I would say that he trusted the ghost, but the problem is that what critics actually say is Hamlet suffered from a particular type of indisposition, and this indisposition is called as melancholia. And it was Ben Jonson who popularized the humors, different humors that existed in humankind. And Burton's Age of Melancholia, I think that particular book speaks about melancholia, and this melancholia is a sort of depression that existed in human mind. And probably Hamlet could have had this sort of disease. That's what critics say. And this actually prevented him from acting. Tragedy is all about, drama is all about action and deed. And this guy was not able to act. He was not able to decide. Immediately after the ghost speaks, you find that he comes and stands in front of the king, and the king is actually Claudius is very accommodative. He's accommodative in the sense he's very friendly in the beginning, and probably he would have thought that Hamlet doesn't know the reality. Hamlet, you find that more than the usurpation of throne, actually it is due to his wife, the fall of his mother affects him very much. So when he comes to know that his mother married this guy, it creates a sensation. It creates a very bad feeling in him, and that actually pulls him down from action. That's what critics again say. So he's in a very confused state. You find that he's in a very confused state, and there are different layers of what to say. If you just want to know, or if you just want to understand Hamlet, you'll have to watch how his mind works, and you'll find that there will be different layers as far as Hamlet mind is concerned. And the manifesting thing is something that is something called the antic disposition. He actually pretends as if he's mad, and he pretends he's mad, and when he's just speaking with Ophelia, you'll find that his behavior is quite erratic. And if you ask me whether he was really hating Ophelia after a particular time, I would say that not like that, because at the end he says, when the play is getting over, you'll find that he openly admits that not thousands of brothers can love Ophelia as a single Hamlet can love. So that itself is a clear evidence. That itself is a clear proof to say, to support that Hamlet's love for Ophelia was quite intact throughout the play. Then what could be the reason why he moved away from Ophelia? A question like this can be answered by pinpointing certain things. Probably, I think the behavior of his mother. When his mother betrays him in the sense that when she marries a new husband without any sort of compunction, I think that really pains Hamlet, and he actually loses faith in women. And he saw Ophelia as almost what he almost saw Ophelia as a reflection of Gertrude, and that could be the reason. And you know very well that Horatio was very supportive. And as far as this play is concerned, you'll have to see that Horatio is a very minor character, and Laertes and Fortinbras are almost parallels to Hamlet, because you find that Laertes, as far as Laertes is concerned, is very active. And even though he's not as noble as Hamlet, what you'll find is when he comes to know that his father has been murdered, when Polonius is getting murdered, he comes and quarrels with the king, and is ready to avenge the death of his father. And this is not found with Hamlet. And Hamlet actually misses many chances also. Probably one particular scene when the king is praying, I think that was the golden chance. What actually prevented Hamlet from murdering Claudius at that particular juncture? I think it is said that probably if he is going to kill the king at that particular juncture, he'll just go to heaven. That's what he says. And I don't think that is a very plausible reason. That is not a good reason at all. But still, he doesn't murder the king. And probably he could have had fears. There are fears like what is going to happen. Suppose if he's going to kill the king, uh, the reputation of the king will actually grow in the sense that people's support will fall on the king. That could be the reason why he didn't murder. And Hamlet, as far as Hamlet's character is concerned, you can just roughly divide it into two. One is before he goes to, actually he's shipped out of Denmark. And this happens when the king and Polonius, they wanted to find out, they want to explore the real nature of his antic disposition, and they go and hide behind the arras, and they watch his behavior to Ophelia. And what actually happens is that they find, especially the king is able to trace that this guy is not true, he's actually pretending, and immediately decides that he has to be sent to England. And ship is arranged, and he moves out of Denmark. And when he's going to the shore, what he finds is that you find a group of soldiers are just walking, and Fortinbras is leading them, and they're all moving towards Poland for war. And this actually pinches him, because he feels for the first time that something is wrong with him, because despite having ample reasons, despite having enough reasons to take revenge, he doesn't do that. So he feels guilty, and he boards the ship. And in tragedies always there are accidents, and these accidents are very important. Especially you find that in Othello, the dropping of handkerchief is a very important accident. Had the handkerchief not been dropped, the play would have taken a different course. And here, as far as this play is concerned, the entry of pirate ship is very important. Had there been no pirate ship, I would say that this guy would have gone to England, and there is every reason why he would have been killed. So when the pirate ship comes, he uses his insignia, his father's insignia, and he writes a letter to the King of England telling that this guy has to be, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern had to be punished instead. And he just escapes through the pirate ship, and he lands back in Denmark. And from now onwards, you'll find that he is a different person. For the first time, you find that there is a spiritual resignation, and understand that Shakespeare's plays are purely secular. There is no religious tinge in Shakespearean plays. And people, when they speak about moral construct and all those things, I would say that not at all. It's a play where the heroes are getting punished, whether good or bad. That's all. So morality and all such stuff should not be should be eschewed from Shakespearean plays. And here, after coming back to Denmark, he's a different person. And the ghost comes the second time in the play, and sorry, third time in the play, and that particular juncture is very important because it comes and it stands and it speaks to Hamlet when Hamlet is accosting his mother. His mother Gertrude actually Hamlet takes Gertrude alone, and he tries to advise her. He doesn't punish her. Basically, Hamlet is a very soft personality in the sense that he doesn't want to punish, or he doesn't want to enter into any sort of violence. That's what few critics say. And you find that the ghost comes and stands, and in Elizabethan tradition it was such that the ghost always stands and it will always appear only for a particular eye. The mother, especially Gertrude, will not, she doesn't see the ghost, and the ghost is standing near her, and it is the ghost that advises him to uh, spare the mother, and he advises, and she of course realizes. So then, and you also know that in this particular juncture, the ghost asks Hamlet to be more sharp in the act of taking revenge. So this also propels him forward, and then what happens? Actually, he actually murders Polonius, and the scene shifts, and you find that uh, the king plays his own politics in the sense that he brings Laertes. He convinces Laertes to have a fencing match, and in the fencing particular match, what happens is you find that both are poisoned. They use poisoned sword, and there'll be a total. There'll be, I think, lots of characters die at the end. So here we need to ask a very simple question: had Hamlet acted promptly, had Hamlet killed the king when he was praying, most of the deaths could have been avoided, and his mother would have been spared, his life would have been spared, Laertes would have been spared, Ophelia would have been spared, and even at the end, when Hamlet is dying, what happens is you find it is the only Shakespearean play where Horatio says that he brings a religious touch. He says that Hamlet, when he dies, or his soul will be taken care of by the angels. So this is something special because no Shakespearean play has this sort of religious touch in it. So in a way, it's a very important thing, and he that at the cusp of death, he cares more for his people, for his kingdom than anything else, and he asks Fortinbras to take care of the kingdom. So you can ask a very simple question like, what is the connection between digital age and this particular play? What I would like to say is, as far as digital age is concerned, people, especially students, they've they if you just ask a student like, are you interested in Oedipus complex? Are you interested in Attic disposition? Are you ready to explore the world of Hamlet? Their plain answer would be, they just want to know the story and they wanted to get marks. So the impact of impact of Hamlet on the present generation is very much less than what it had on the previous generation. That's what I would say. And once even my once Ilango sir was speaking, and he was just telling like, nowadays I don't teach poems like what I taught before. So even when he's teaching a very simple poem, he just teaches it in a materialistic manner. That's what he said. So the present generation has become highly materialistic. And even in Hamlet, what they would find is they will just search for opportunities. So there will be no aesthetic approach. This is my statement, and it's a very interesting play. And what we need to do as lovers of Shakespeare, as teachers, we'll have to sensitize and we'll have to create a sense of interest amongst the students. I don't know about Sri Lankan students, but as far as Indian students are concerned, they are far, far away from literature nowadays. So Hamlet or Macbeth or any work of art is concerned, a student has to be passionately attached to literature, and unless or other that attachment happens, I don't think these literary works will survive. Survive in the sense that most of the books will be the cupboard. No one is going to dust, no one is going to take and read those books. So this is the specialty of Hamlet as a play, and it has to be seen. Uh, Certainly, it is a tragedy, and nowadays, I think when you just go to Shakespearean society, you'll find that it is being acted in different manners. And who played the role of Hamlet? If you ask a question like that, I would say that it is Richard Burbage. So when it came to tragic acting, it was Richard Burbage, that is son of James Burbage, who played a very important role. He played the protagonist role, and when it came to comedies, it was William Kemp. Kemp was very popular as an actor, and this Kemp was very popular for one particular reason, because he was known for his facial contortion and distortion. So this William Kemp became so popular in Elizabethan theaters, and that's all as far as the world of Hamlet. We find that he's more of a victim, and there's no doubt his imagination was so fertile, and this imagination actually prevented him from acting. And the thoughts, I think again, you need to note that it is thoughts that actually prevent Hamlet. So he was brooding always. Okay, when he was brooding, or when too many thoughts came into his mind, he was not able to act. So Hamlet has to be seen along with Julius Caesar. Hamlet has to be seen as the most prominent tragedy of William Shakespeare. And Hamlet should be seen as a personality who is very much amongst each and every one of us. Each and every one of us are Hamlet in one or other way. Because we all procrastinate, we all try to postpone things, and none of us actually uh, perform things immediately. And moreover, the mental conflict, the inner conflict is always there. As we see what is happening in the world, you find that there are lots of conflicts. If you take Middle East, if you take Russia-Ukraine war, so all these things are not just external conflicts. All these conflicts are happening because of the inner conflict. When man is in conflict, when man has a lot of inner conflict, there is a possibility of war. And this could be seen in many instances. If you just ask, like Hitler, what was the problem with Hitler? The problem was with Hitler is that he was having a lot of inner conflicts. So that's what the yoga masters and others keep saying. You'll have to be at peace, and unless or other you are peaceful, there is no possibility for external peace. So Hamlet is a representation of that, and Shakespeare did use a language that is totally different from other plays. As far as Hamlet is concerned, you find that there are lots of repetitions. Hamlet never speaks in a single, he never uses words only once. Probably there are many instances, there are many examples for that. For example, when he kills Polonius, he utters words like rat, rat. And there are instances where he uses words like, in a particular dialogue, what he says is very like, very like. He repeats. He uses, in another dialogue, he says words, words. So all these things, you can just ask, what could be the reason why he speaks in this manner? There are two reasons. One is he's uh, he's not stable, mentally stable. That's what critics say. The other thing is, it was a fashion amongst the young people in those days to speak in this manner. And also, you find that the intensity of language employed by William Shakespeare is more in Hamlet than in other place. If you see Macbeth, Macbeth, as far as Macbeth is concerned, you find that it is a very small plot. The simplest plot, as far as Shakespearean tragedies are concerned, is found in Macbeth. It's a very small plot, and you find that Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Macduff, it ends there. So it's a very small plot. But Hamlet is considered to be one of the longest plays, and the plot is very complicated. And this could be the reason why it is more popular. And moreover, another reason that could be attributed to the popularity of Hamlet is that it's a mystery. No one has found the exact reason for procrastination as far as Hamlet is concerned. You find that every critic comes and they gives one or other reason, but nothing is as convincing. And when you're reading Hamlet, you should imagine, or you should have the sense of watching a play. Unless that is done, I don't think it is going to impress that much. So if you ask, like, Hamlet is a philosophy, is a philosopher, or is philosophic in its outlook, again, we need to. It's a matter of dispute. In no way he's philosophic. In no way he's philosophic, and even in when he's speaking, only in one instance he just uses the word philosophy. And especially he goes to the grave and he stands there and he just uh, analyzes life, and he finds that both fame and life actually comes to dust and it's nothing. So all those things are absolute waste of time as far as the action is concerned. So of course you have a lot of message there, but still, when it comes to revenge, and after this particular scene, what happens is you find that when he meets Horatio, it is Horatio who actually prompts him to take action. The Hamlet, he left to himself, he would have been like that. I don't think he would have taken revenge at all. So that is something that is amusing as far as Hamlet is concerned. And these and all are points which you can remember. And as far as Hamlet is concerned, there are different other ways to analyze the play as well. Probably you can do it in a very modernistic way, and you know very well that research nowadays are just focusing on new authors. Especially in our country, what we do is, no one goes to classics. If you ask any of the researcher to go and do research in Shakespeare or Ben Jonson or any of the old writers, I doubt they would be bold enough to do that. So most of them stick on to the modern authors, and they just finish their research and get their degrees. So when someone is going for Shakespeare, I mean, someone is going for Hamlet, I would say that it provides a fertile opportunity. Still, there are chances for a very great research as far as Hamlet is concerned, because Hamlet's character, Hamlet's psyche, his mind is still unexplored, or only half explored. So there is a high possibility. And if you have any intention of going for doctorate degree, I would say that you can go for Hamlet, and you can just do it in a very modernistic way. So this is the thing just I wanted to share. And if you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you, Professor, for this wonderful lecture. So now the floor is open for questions. students. The floor is open for questions.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Can I little bit explain about the specialty of the language of the play?
Language of the play, in the sense, you'll find that the language is what to say. Hamlet is good in playing with words. Okay. Uh, what I find is no tragic hero of Shakespeare has this quality. They don't play with words, but Hamlet is one who plays with words, and here you can even call him as a humorist. He makes fun of characters in a very subtle manner. For, an, for instance, there are many things. There are many, even the first few lines, you'll find that the usage of word is very curt and powerful, especially the opening scene as far as Hamlet is concerned. No play of Shakespeare is as powerful in the beginning. You just see the beginning of this particular play. You find that Bernardo is there, and the language, the words that are being used is very powerful, very sharp, and it creates a very great sensation amongst the audience. And I also mentioned about the repetition that happens, and this repetition is very important in the sense that it actually reflects the mindset of the protagonist. And soliloquy plays a very important role. No play of Shakespeare has these many soliloquies, and except for fifth act, most of the soliloquies, most of the acts have soliloquies. And also in these soliloquies, Hamlet doesn't speak about Ophelia. He just speaks about many things, but never speaks about Ophelia. And in the language also, you find that Hamlet is shown as a great admirer of human being and life itself. He just speaks greatly about human beings, about the creation, about their practice, about their skills, and all sort of things. So Hamlet as a person is far ahead of his times. He doesn't belong to that particular age at all. I think this is one particular reason, and the language clearly shows that. And every solid, especially the gravedigger scene, is a fine example of the usage of language. Shakespeare uses the language in a very intense manner, and these and all are reasons why I would say that Hamlet's language is far better than many of the Shakespearean plays. And Shakespeare didn't use the same language which he used in Hamlet and other plays. Probably in the late tragedies, especially in 1607 and 1608, when he wrote late tragedies, you find that the intense use of language actually melted very much. It was not as intense as it was in Hamlet. Hope I have
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Just the next question.
So may I?
Yeah, sure.
So if the Shakespeare was born in 20th century, or the Hamlet was written in the 20th century, would it be as valid like before?
Yeah, it depends on Shakespeare's mindset. Had Shakespeare been born in 21st century, there is least possibility. Probably he would have written a play, that is sure. But the problem is he would have had lots of distraction, in the sense that since this is a digital age, I think many authors are there. Probably even amongst the 8 members who are present here, there might be some or other as a writer, but they wouldn't have been able to. They wouldn't be able to write as much as Shakespeare did, because in those days, reading and writing was the only sort of entertainment and relaxation for people, especially learned people. But now, of course, it's different. We actually spend most of our time in watching things. When you're watching in the screen, what happens is most of your energy gets frittered away. So it is doubtful if Shakespeare would have written a play that would have been as heavy as Hamlet, but certainly he would have written something. He would have written a novel. That's what I would say.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
May I?
Yeah.
Sir, as you mentioned, there were audience that they went to ask and hear the play. How do they hear that kind of voice so far? Because the audience is large and huge audience.
See, one interesting thing, as far as you can just ask a very simple question: why did the Indian subcontinent, why drama was not as popular as it was in England or in other cold places? It was because the acoustics was better there. When it is cold, even if you just murmur or whisper, it is audible. Whereas when the climate is hot, you'll have to shout. And even one more reason, one other reason which you'll have to keep in mind is that the theater was not, what is it? It was made of wood, and the acoustic effect was taken care of. And the actor had to speak their fullest voice. It was not like what our actors are doing in movies today. So when they came to the stage, they stood in front and they spoke. They used to raise their voice to the highest pitch, and the member who was at the top of the gallery, so they did listen. They were able to listen to the words, and it was audible, no doubt. Had it not been audible, I think drama wouldn't have been this much popular. That's, I'm quite certain. And I would say that climate played a very important role. Weather played a very important role, and moreover, the theater, Globe Theater, was located on the south bank. Thames divided London, and we find that South Bank had most of the entertainments, especially Globe Theatre, Rose Theatre. All these theatres were located there, whereas residents, most of the people resided in the North Bank. And understand that actors in those days, they were not confined to what do you say, theaters alone. So they did perform in courts also. They went to Elizabethan court, they acted. They went to Duke's palace, they acted. So court acting was also there. But theaters, I do say that it had good acoustic effects. And when an actor spoke, naturally the member of an audience did listen and they understood. No doubt about that.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to know about, are there any innovative staging techniques used in recent production of Hamlet, sir?
Pardon, I don't understand.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
I would to know about, sir, are there any innovative staging techniques used in recent production of Hamlet?
Yeah, innovative in the sense that you have all modern gadgets.
Yes.
Especially, I think nowadays when colleges and schools, what they do is they just record the dialogues and they just play the dialogues and they just act. Okay, so this is something this I found in certain colleges. And moreover, as far as acting is concerned, you find that a lot of research has been done, and there is no need for the actor to shout. And lighting, again, lighting effect is there, acoustic effect has improved. So all these things do help acting as far as modern era is concerned. And remember that the problem is that acting becomes repetitive. what is it, when Hamlet is being when being enacted, what you will find is you find that an actor, when he is asked to speak the soliloquy, you'll have to wonder like how he'll act. Where will he stand? How will he make his hands move? What will be his posture? What will be his gesture? What will be his facial contortion? So all these things are not going to change much. I think because most of the recordings, most of the things are being there in YouTube, and if you just watch all those things, acting has become repetitive, and there are lots of parallels. What to say? Do you think that that can be, for example, in Tamil, you had an actor called Tamil Sivaji Ganesan. So today you have many actors. So Sivaji Ganesan was very popular in those days. People say that he was an excellent actor. But Sivaji Ganesan's he played different roles. If you ask a particular actor from this present era to play the same particular role, I think there will be some sort of imitation, there will be some sort of similarity, and this is what is happening as far as Hamlet acting is concerned in modern era. So I would say that modern techniques has actually made acting more or less similar in nature, but of course it has made things quite easy. People need not shout, and what do you say, like lighting and other things could be used in such a manner that the facial expression can be shown in a different, or can be hidden, or can be shown in a different manner. And especially the ghost scene, there could be more intensity because you have music nowadays, and even in those days there were music. Even Shakespearean times you had music. And Shakespearean plays, especially if you see read Shakespearean plays, you'll find that there was something called stage direction. You didn't have a director as such. So when Shakespeare says music, I think in the play itself it will be written. Immediately there will be music, and everything is given. Everything will be there, and it is the actors who have to read that, understand, and they'll have to act accordingly. And also another point which you'll have to remember as far as acting is concerned is in those days dialogues, as far as the dialogues are concerned, it is not that the actors uh, they, they they memorized everything. They just came forward, and it is said that the dialogues were given only at that particular point of time. So immediately they saw that, and they spoke. That's what they say. And the stage was in such a manner that you find that many intrusions will be there, many disturbances will be there. There were people who are seated on the stage in Elizabethan times, especially if a person was a VIP. He used to come and sit in the stage, it seems. So the actors had to manage all those things. When someone is throwing an egg, I think the actor has to manage. But nowadays it's not like that. You find that when Hamlet is being enacted, you find most of the audience members of audience are more refined. They just sit, they just listen. That's all. So acting, as far as the modern era is concerned, has become easy, but there will be lots of similarities. I don't think beyond a point there can be any difference.
Sir, can I know, did Gertrude truly love Claudius, or was she manipulated by him?
Yeah, can you just repeat?
Did Gertrude truly love Claudius, or was she manipulated by him? Because she seems to genuinely care for Claudius, but Ghost and Hamlet criticize her as her quick marriageable lady. What about your opinion, sir?
Claudius manipulated?
Yeah, did Gertrude truly love Claudius, or was she manipulated by him?
I'm very sorry. Actually, I have a problem in understanding your question. Rohan, can you just tell
Yeah.
what
Did
she did?
Gertrude really love Claudius, Or was she manipulated by Claudius
Oh.
so that she was forced to love him?
After a particular age, there is no possibility of love. That's what I would say. It was pure lust. And when Hamlet advises his mother to keep away from bed just 1 or 2 days, it clearly shows that it is lust than love. Because had she been in love with the first king, had her love been very sincere, I doubt if she would have married this guy, Claudius. So there is no possibility of love between Claudius and Gertrude, and both of them did use the other person for an opportunity. It's just for selfish purposes. For example, Claudius, you find that he married Gertrude because he wanted to be safe. He wanted to convince people that uh, the elder Hamlet died a natural death. And as far as this lady was concerned, I would say that she is disloyal. She was disloyal, and it was certainly not a love. She didn't love Claudius, but I think it was lust. The passion of lust was more. And when Hamlet advises her, I think at a particular point of time, she becomes guilty and she tries to change or transform. So this could be one point which I think it's a very interesting question, but it's not love, it's pure lust. It's pure lust, and Shakespeare was not very comfortable with his wife. Understand that. So whenever I think that could be the reason, because he was not so comfortable with Annie Hathaway, and what he did was like he never stayed in Stratford for long. Even when you was staying in England, even when you were staying in London, you find that he stayed in a particular place called Helen's Parish, Saint Helen's Parish, and even in the initial stages of his life in London, you find that his family was actually shifted to Stratford upon Avon. So that could be the reason. So he never had a very a lovable relationship, and who knows? Shakespeare would have had some illicit, and the Black Lady is one good example for that. So no one knows. See, whatever we speak about Shakespeare's life, we are just speaking at a surface level. There are many hidden strands that are unexplored, and I don't think it is going to be explored. So I'm quite convinced as far as Gertrude's love is concerned. I don't call it as love at all. It is pure lust. And also, we can go to the other extreme and say that she was lust. She was full of lust not only for Claudius but also for power. She wanted to hold on to power, and that could be the reason why she was there in the throne. It's almost a repetition of what you find in Oedipus the Rex. Of course, in Oedipus the Rex, what you find is both the mother and the son, they don't know what is what, who is who. But here, it's like Gertrude she clearly knew that Hamlet is not going to take it in the right spirit. But in spite of that, she marries Claudius, and I doubt if she was a part of this murder. I think we can go and explore that also, because there is a possibility for that as well. She could have been a part of that murder. She could have joined with Claudius, and she could have murdered her own husband, and she could have married this guy. So anything is possible, but you'll have to read with the thought that Shakespeare wrote with a very depressive mind. He was very depressed as far as his psyche is concerned. And we don't know the real reason for that. It could be the death of his son. It could be some other purpose. And the death of Earl of Essex also could be taken. So he was so close. And the death of Essex actually deprived him of many things in life. So that could also be the reason. But he lost faith in human beings. That should also be taken into account.
Sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here there is a heavy rain, so maybe we'll have to wait. Yes, Himaya, please come with your question.
Sir, shall I?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, in which way we can view this procrastination, sir? I mean, in a negative way or positive way? Because I think Hamlet's procrastination makes in the end everyone is die.
Yeah, procrastination in a positive way, you can say that it actually makes the play a long play. In a negative way, had the procrastination not been there, the play would have ended, and Hamlet wouldn't have been as popular as it is now. So procrastination plays a very, I think it's a dramatic trick. That's what I would say. Shakespeare used this particular trick in a very effective manner, and he made it a very popular play. And as far as procrastination is concerned, I think as we have seen, Hamlet is, you'll have to see Hamlet as a different person than other characters of that particular period. So he was more learned, he was moralistic, he had his own view about life. And before the death of his father, how Hamlet was, this is a question which you'll have to ask. And you don't have much evidence, but it is clear that when I think based on the people's views about Hamlet, you'll find that he was a good person, he was a leader, and people did love him very much. And this could clearly show how Hamlet would have been. Probably he would have been more responsible, more lovable, and even Ophelia's love could be taken. You find that for what reason he did act as a mad person? Is it because of Ophelia? Because you know that when the ghost comes and speaks about revenge and other things, Hamlet immediately decides that he has to take revenge. But taking revenge is not an easy thing. It's going to create a lot of issues. He himself would lose his life. So in that way, you can say that Hamlet wanted to sever his ties with Ophelia, and that could be the reason why he actually pretends as a mad person, and he speaks very harshly towards Ophelia. And Ophelia, as a person is concerned, you find that she was totally different. She was totally different in the sense she was not like Lady Macbeth, or she was not like Juliet. She was a person who fully dependent on her father. So whatever the father says, she used to listen. And she was not a very powerful character also. She was a very timid character, and her life was a very small one, and it fully depended on Polonius and Laertes. And that was the reason why she feels very alone. When Polonius dies and Laertes is in Paris, you find that she feels totally alone, and she's not able to act in any way, and she becomes mad finally. She becomes finally mad. So as far as Hamlet is concerned, I think there is, I would say that the procrastination is a necessary thing. It's a very important thing as far as the progress of the play is concerned. And this procrastination is the main thread that makes the play very interesting till now. Everyone keeps asking only one question: why Hamlet did postpone? the action. He could have easily killed the king. He had many chances. He is not a timid guy. Understand that he is not a person who was afraid or frightened in his life. Because when he kills Polonius not because he realized that Polonius was there. He killed Polonius because he thought that it was king himself who was there, hidden. So that was the reason why he kills Polonius. So naturally, procrastination is a dramatic trick used by Shakespeare to make this play a popular one. And there are many factors. He was suffering from melancholia. He was suffering from, that is Hamlet. He was suffering from melancholia. He was suffering from depression. This could be the reason that was pulling him down from acting. So it's not lethargy. It was a sort of mental depression. That could be the reason.
This is a vital question, Professor, because nowadays most of the students are procrastinating. They don't study every day. They say tomorrow, tomorrow, until the exam comes.
So I think you'll have to find the similarity. We all are becoming Hamlets in one or other way. In the digital age, let us leave our generation. We had a different life as college students, but now it's totally different. People, you can't make them patient to sit and read for some time. So they keep procrastination, and it is clear. Today's students are today's Hamlet. Okay, so
yes, any more questions? So, Arosha?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
How did Shakespeare explain about the concept of morality through this drama?
Concept of morality.
Morality? Morality.
Morality.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, morality. Shakespeare was not religious. See, morality is something that is related with religion. When you take Dr. Faustus, you find that there is always a clash between good and evil forces. Shakespeare was above that. Of course, he was influenced by Christopher Marlowe, but I doubt if he believed in this moral order. There is nothing like good overcomes the evil as far as Shakespearean plays are concerned. You find that many times you find that evil predominates, especially in his tragedies. Of course, after 1608, what you find is he goes for reconciliation, his life changes, and he goes for he pardons. He gets that flexibility and elasticity to pardon human flaws. So all those things are there, and in place like Cymbeline, you find the same thing. Even though it has all the intensity of tragedy, it is not a tragedy because death doesn't occur. So if you ask me whether it is morality, I would say that Shakespeare never believed in that. And as I said in the lecture, this is the only play where the Christian doctrine of angels and Hamlet's soul being taken care of the angels do come. In no other play you find that it is seen. So in that way, I would say that it has nothing to do with morality. But every play believes
Okay,
in
thank you, sir.
an order. Every play believes in some sort of order that existed in the world. And Hamlet clearly says, even the death of a sparrow, you find that there is providence. He uses the word providence. There is providence even in the death of a sparrow. There is a reason for everything. That is what he says.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. I think no more question to ask.
again. So we are going to wind up this session today. Good evening. On behalf of everyone here, I would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Subaramanian. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable insight on relevance of Hamlet in the digital age. Like you said, within a very short duration. Actually, your experience and expertise have provided us with a wealth of knowledge and good understanding of this drama. Each and every examples and information you shared have been incredibly helpful to all of us. Next, I must thankful to our senior lecturer, Dr. Rohan Savanamuthu. Thank you, sir, for encouraging us to conduct this session and your attempt to organize this program for us. And I would like to thank you, all the participants. Thank you very much for participating and contributing to this program with your questions. Once again, I would thank to Dr. Subaramanian. Thank you very much, sir, taking the time out your busy schedule to be with us today. And we look forward to possibly collaborating with you again in the future as well. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And thank you, my dear students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.